Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Madden God podcast. I'm Max, your host, with the wonderful, amazing Roxanne. How are you, Roxanne?
Wonderful and amazing. I'm
Yeah,
doing
I
I'm
mean,
doing great, Max.
when you start saying wonderful, then you have to. The way is only up.
It's only up from there, right?
Yeah, so in some time it was there wonderful, great, amazing, inimitable. What else? No. Yes. So we're at the 12th episode, I think.
I think it's over 12.
Just it's yeah.
That means it's been
It's
12 weeks. Wow.
yes. Yeah.
How
Imagine
time
that.
flies when you're in the now.
Oh, absolutely, and I mean it's flowing like never before. It's just, yeah, the now is getting you really faster. So, yeah, what are we going to talk about today?
Exactly that, the now.
Yeah, the amazing now, that place, that oh, that time, or that whatever, that now, that here.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of probably the strongest book is I think Eckhart Tolle, The Power of the Now, and that was a great, absolute, stunning book. And when Bashar had put out the five laws of the universe, of creation rather, not the universe, of creation. Number two is everything is here and now, and I really start looking at that because if I look at what got me interested in it is a concept that came in. If the memory is created in the now, and everything is here and now, how the hell I don't know if I just got here right now, and my memory's in place of my entire life happening. Could be. But I don't look at it like that with the lack or the fascination of it. What I look at it more so is the ability to focus in the now and stave off those tendrils of time, the things that move you into the reality. So into the reality of the future or into the reality of the past. So I'm 55, and since my lifetime, amount of fear that's been ran through my mind on my own accord, as well as being fed by humanity uh, on what's not happening in the here, HERE, and the now, NOW. So the present moment. And that is a very difficult thing. You just can't shut that shit off. Our minds are these wonderful algorithms, these algorithms of repetition over and over and over again, of our life reinforced through the nature of our coveting environment, our moms, our dads, societies, blah, blah, blah. Everything that you've got, you're born separated, you don't know anything, you start off the journey, you become your personality, you have a favorite football team if you like football because you were born in a town that has a football team, or your parents liked it, or you're this religious background, or you're this political stance. It's all of that. And then, maybe later in life you start looking at those things and you can make different choices. But the idea about the future and the past is so severe because we're always prepared for the doomsday. It's always coming. It's always coming. So we prepare because we don't want to fail, because we don't want to be left wanting, because we don't want to look like an idiot, because we don't want to get blamed. We mainly is because, oh my God, I might get hurt, I might die. So we create these scenarios in our mind that are playing out in time. That was part of a conversation about conspiracy theory and how we need to handle what's happening out there. And, it was a conspiracy theory, but they weren't calling it a conspiracy theory because it was brought through a source of validity. So they chose that valid source as it's not a conspiracy theory. But the thing is, it's still not happening now. Okay, that's the
Yeah.
point. So in order to prevent that, they do action to prevent that. But that's really not what's going on. It's going on as a reality. It is really going on, but not in externalism. It's happening for in each one of those individual universes, co-creating that idea, focusing on that, and it's giving the experience of the here and the now. And that's very difficult for people to see. I understand that because, 1999, over, oops, out of time. It's all going to come hell in a handbasket. And, the Y2K, all of this stuff, the end of the world. And, all these people get diarrhea of the mouth because they're looking for ideas of attachment and validation because they're not enough. So they put their shit out there. It's because it's so important. You got to know this, and if you don't know this, you're gonna, and they scare the crap out of you, and then you're focusing on a distraction that's not and ever shall be in the here and the now. What comes in the here and the now? Life. But we're taught to manage life. We're taught to manage life through time, through education, through relevance, through preparation, and this cycles over and over again. My life is absolutely phenomenal because I let go of those things, but I didn't do the affirmation, oh, I let you go, I give it back to the universe horseshit. I fucking transcended that shit by accepting, look at me, I'm afraid of the future. I'm afraid of these things. I lock my doors. I take precautions. I prevent ideas. I have to save money. I have to do these things to be a better person, to make myself. And look at the stress. Look at the fucking, the oppression I'm putting on myself to save my ass from embarrassment or death or whatever. But, if I'm an eternal being, which I trust I am, I can't die. All I'm going to do is change fucking rooms, right? So I was really looking at that energy spent, and nothing is going to happen of that nature. How do I know? How do I know it's not going to happen? Because it's already happened. It happened in the now that they were doing it. That's how people create their realities. That's what Eckhart was telling you. You're in the now, creating your now, and that's it. It has no affiliation with the futures nor affiliations with the past. Every now you only interpret your reality to use time and memory as a consequence or a result. But that's just another now. When you start to pull your idea reins of time back and start to focus in the now, you start to see that nothing's ever happened to me. All I've done is have an experience of interpretation. Everything is happening for me because I'm a creator of my own world. And that's a very big sticking point because I've spent years taking down that fucking thing about the futures and the past, about the fears of time, about the things that, this is what they did last time, so you got to get better at it. Hey, I get it. I get evolution. Don't get me wrong. It's really great that we did a hell of a lot better with the programs, the building codes, the fire escapes. We were just killing each other at the expense of money, and we put preventions, and we learned to be a better species from evolution. I'm not saying that space-time continuum doesn't matter in the idea of a mass collective. What I'm saying is pay attention to your world. Pay attention to your world. Pay attention where your mind is going and the emotional content of that solicitation ego telling you how you have to behave. And then you change your behavior by having an argument or doing this or doing that in order to do something that's not happening now. You make appointments. You go to the doctor when the appointment comes. We're not talking about trivial shit. We're talking about the common sense stuff in the now that takes you and puts you in a distraction. And you must realize that is not occurring in time. It's happening now. How many scenarios do you play out in your head? If this happens, then okay, though this and this and this and maybe this and maybe this and this is what I'll do. How many minutes did you spend doing that? How many minutes do you spend a day not in your now? See, the present is a place that is a very mysterious place for humanity because we're emotionally spread ourselves in time in the relationship of what's not happening now because we've been sold the story. If we didn't like time in the idea of the futures and possibilities, we wouldn't have credit and we wouldn't have insurance. But what we do is we value those things. So you have to look at them hard in your own kingdom. And it's going to scare the shit out of you. It's going to scare the crap out of you not to take the actions that you've been told you must do in order to. But what happens if? And I don't know, but you got to remember this might happen. I don't know. And that's all people just diarrhea of the doubt. And now you're fucking feeling that energy because that's emotion and that's a shared experience with the human separated collective. You have to look at emotion as a belief system, a posture, a way to be, a personality that you've donned for the day to feel like a hero or be full of pride and I matter because I did this and I made a difference. You made a difference because your own existence matters. Without you, without the presence of you, there's nothing. So, anyways, so they were an hour conversation about what is happening, what's going to happen, and then all the pouring into this big vat of vortex, big vat of emotional sludge, spitting in this vortex, going, well, this might happen, and you have to do this, and this might happen, you have to do this, and what about this, and this, and it's all not there, and we just take these truths and we swallow them. We drink the fucking Kool-Aid. For you older people out there, you know what that is. You drink the Kool-Aid and then you just fucking, that's it. You buy into these stories and you're creating. Come on, everyone, what are you creating? You're creating one fucking iota of a split second called the now, and it continues. And that's your life. That's your life. Look at your life right now. You go to work, but you can't wait to get home. You're in your idea very few times when you're focused on a project. You focus on the now and it feels good and you get accomplished and then you're out of it. Then you're thinking about lunch or Starbucks or what are you going to watch tonight on TV? There's nothing wrong with that. That's not a wrong pattern. That's a choice. What you have to see is the presence of yourself is a mysterious place that is very uncommon for humanity. To really focus in the now and not wander your focus or accept the distractions of your mind that is a perpetual algorithm of lack needing to be fed by your attention. You give the energy of your beliefs attention, validating that vibrational frequency, becoming that self and attracting those realities. You start focusing on the now, take your focus out of time, and you start to attract different frequencies because you in and of itself have changed your own vibrational frequency. So there's a lot about the here and the now that is a learned skill set. A learned skill set. Very good. There you go. So I think it's very valid for people to start to pay attention to that. Allow yourself just to watch what happens. The truest test that I have been doing to my best of my ability is trusting law of attraction and allowing things to attract to me. For some reason, if it's not in the now, we have to go get it. I let them come. My life isn't better because I let it come, and it's not worse because I let it come. It's a now life. See, I can't control how I feel about what's not here and now. I can only experience what's here and now. So if there's something not in my here and now and I'm lacking it, then I have my own belief systems confronting me and I can change that reality. I can change that relationship. I have something here that's not here that I desire, then I'm exposing myself to my lack and I can look at that and I can transcend that. If it's not here and now, it's not my truth right now. My truth is always the presence of the self. Otherwise, I can't be in a vibrational relationship with it. I can have a vibrational relationship with memory, and I can call it the past, but that's my now. I can have a vibrational relationship with my future, but that's happening right now. You're always filling your nows with your energy. Pay attention to where your focus is. That focus is going to tell you so much about yourself. That focus is going to tell you exactly how you're creating your experience. It's not the details. Don't externalize this. Don't become an externalism. Well, what about this and that object and these people? And they said, That's your distraction. That's your ideas. You got to become unconditional to the outside, accept everything, and then focused on the here and the now and see what it's really like to go to the fridge and open it and pay attention and open to the fridge. Not think about what's on TV or what's coming up next. Taking the orange juice out or taking the ice cream out, scooping it into a dish, putting the dish away after you're done, sitting down, enjoying every bite. It seems tedious at first, but you're not trying to. What you're truly really doing is allowing it by not taking your mind, keeping your mind present. It's not an effort to be now, it's the effort to keep your mind from wandering to the distractions that are very valuable to the human. So I think that's a good start, Max.
Oh yeah, it is. Um, it is, and uh, you know, when relating or looking into the now, it's such a thing. Um, Lately, so as you know, I had this shift, and I've found myself having things, thoughts coming back of experiences that I had where, yeah, I already work on that, and now I have the thoughts coming back. So what do I do? Well, I let the thought go on, and when I'm done, the thought goes away. And I I noticed that that exercise, that thing, right? Of it's a way for me just to have that work, right? The shadow work or the work to the self on me and that kind of thing. And I noticed, right? It comes and I could say, "Oh, why am I still back to this shit? In it's just the past. It's not relevant to the now." But as you say, it's the now. I'm having the thought right now. So what I do with that? Do I refuse the thought, or do I let the thought just to go through the now? And when I'm done, it's gone. I let it go, right? So it's a way to see, right, the work, doing the work, and you stay in the now, and then you do your work, and it's like today I had all this work with my furnitures and my bed, having to build it up and all of that, and then afterwards I'm tired. So I was there, oh, I'm tired, I'm itching my back and that. And as I was taking my shower just before we came here to speak, and then I said, well, you know what? Actually, yes, that's true. I'm itching. I did all of that and everything. That's real. However, in this now, this is another now. So my itching is my memory. And but attention here, because this is tricky. You cannot just say that, because this way you say, well, the pain I feel is a memory. Doesn't work like
No, it's
that. That's
very real.
intention,
Yeah.
right? It's real. The pain is real. It's not that. But what that did to me, it's not that the pain is gone, but my relationship with the pain has changed. Instead of saying I'm in pain, I'm aging, now I'm simply in the now. I'm taking that back to the now and not relating to that in the memory. So that then the intensity, I felt the intensity of what was going on with my body decreasing. But I didn't do that intentionally. That happened because I simply stated something, I felt something, I realized something, and then I let it go. I didn't keep it with intention, with, oh, I'm gonna do something with that. and this is something that we need, right, to work on and to learn to change our relationship with the now and with the intention that we put in the now. If I'm in the now and I'm intentioning the now, then I'm not really in the now with the sense that we give to the now, right? I'm still intentioning, so I'm out of it, even though I pretend to be in it. And so it's that thing that is tricky for us because we don't know. We have never learned these kind of things. But being in the now is not intentional. Being in the now is being in the now, and that's what we have to learn.
I think it's
It's
natural.
that
I think it's natural.
natural,
Yeah.
exactly. Keeping it that natural without thinking about it, without willing it, without putting the intention. Oh, I have to put myself back in the now. It's that thing where you say, is that intentional? Is that not intentional? Well, it doesn't matter because the thing is that when you are in the now, you release all of that. So you just still, right? Don't we don't have to keep ourselves always as guilty of a thought or a intentional. I may have an intentional this moment, and the next moment it's gone. Am I guilty of having been intentional the previous moment? No. So, but if I then keep myself guilty, if I perceive myself guilty, then yes, I'm holding that.
Which is another now.
Which is another now. Yeah. Yeah. So you see, it's uh, the learning of the now, the understanding of the now, of being in the now. Ah, it's interesting,
Well, see,
right?
you had said something. We've never been taught this.
Yeah.
Well, there's a very valuable idea about not being taught. It's being discovered, is what you get out of not being taught. You know, how
Yes,
did we get here? How did
I
our
see that.
collective ever get here? There was no roadmap. There were no instructions. We left ourselves instructions during the journey. We gave people ideas. We learned it from our parents. But when you learn them with the relationship, we can discover things and get them right because there's truly not getting anything wrong when you consider yourself in a reality of always experience, which means it's all true, it's all real. The relationship's up to you to see something true or false. So that's a thing, Max, I think is very valid that you said, because people are afraid. How do we do this? Well, you just start. This
Yeah.
podcast, if you're listening to it, is enough for you to start in the idea of the endeavor of living in the here and the now. There's the YouTube videos between Bashar and I have some, and of course, Eckhart Tolle. You can read that book, but then you make it your own. You don't make it scripture. You make it your own, and you start to observe and watch yourself and see what the now is about. So I think that was a very good point. We haven't been taught, but isn't that the greatest part of our journey? As we are
Yes.
the discoverers of the unknown. You know, we look to be second, to be educated, to be afraid that we might make a mistake. I don't know how many people have come to me, including one of the students in the class, about meditation. And I understand. She goes, how do you meditate? I don't. You got to learn how. You can't just start. Well, yes, you can, because there's no right and wrong. But you can see the idea that we want that, and that's not wrong to go get some guidance, to get some ideas. But in your mind, you got to realize it's your mind, it's your world, and you got to make it your own. So you don't
Yes.
go against yourself when you think this is what they're selling. And if someone sells you a story on 10 different ways you have to meditate as the standard or you will get a failure, run from that fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Okay? Guides. You can be a guide, but you can't be a demander of people to act in accord with what it is. You give people a framework and let them build their own kingdom. So, or you can just start meditating on whatever your mind tells you. I mean, your mind has access to creation, the intelligence of one and all, access to every meditator that's ever meditated, access to every cook that's ever cooked, access to every guy that flew a fucking airplane. You don't need to learn anything, but it's only the relationship of those ideas in between that take us in and out of these different reality of relationships of lack. And we think these things to be impossible. But if you go back to the now and you trust your internal self and just start doing whatever is in front of you in the moment, not chasing some dream to become something, living here and now, you're going to see you don't need to know how. You're going to learn how by discovering the now. And you
This
will.
last weekend, yeah, this last weekend, I met, I went for a tea, coffee, and with my neighbor and also client, and she was with her daughter-in-law and son, and she was introducing me, and she was telling how extraordinary I am with my abilities, and I said, and I stopped her and I said, look, I'm not extraordinary, I'm very ordinary. I'm not doing anything that anyone else cannot do. So anyone can do what I do. Then that's true that I've done a lot of work on myself, blah 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 blah. Yeah, absolutely. But the basic is that everyone can do what we do. It's not extraordinary. And so
Absolutely.
and so before I even met you, Roxy, in the years before, I already was kind of having a way of meditating or of connecting that I was using, and I was doing that without any notion or anything. No one told me ever how to do that. I just did what felt right to me, what was happening in the now, and I could feel, I could uh, I had moments where I will take a stone, obsidian, and I was feeling connections, but I didn't know what that was. And then obviously in that moment I was trying to make it figure it out. But that was another moment, right? It was before doing a lot of other work, and but that was part of that moment. And so everyone has their ways, so just go with it, just see what feels right with you. You do not need to have any instruction to know what you know, or to discover what you know, or to express it. It's already in you, you
Right.
already have it.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be attracted in your universe. It wouldn't be there as a potential for you to explore the unknown portions of creation and the tools and the abilities all in that moment to do the journey. It's only your mind that tells you in time you're going to fail or you might get it wrong. But in the now, you're not getting it wrong. You're doing the now, whatever that split second is. Always
Yeah.
know that. Always know that. Go ahead.
Then obviously there's the human side that's going to try to make something out of it, or to figure it out. But that's, again, it's part of the moment. It's not wrong. It's not. It's the way you relate to it in that moment, and so it's not wrong. You're not doing it wrong. You cannot do it wrong, because in that moment it's how you relate to it, it's how you're able to express it. And so go with it, be it. Don't hold it back because you are scared or in fear that you're going to do it wrong. You can't do it wrong. You'll do it the best you can in that moment. Then you'll have other things that will come to you, new discoveries, new stuff, and you'll relate to that in a different way. But it's just because you are evolving,
And also,
because you
also,
are allowing that.
also, you're going to get validation of your own experience because you're not judging whether it's right or wrong. Whose measure of standard are you holding yourself against to claim right or wrong? You're accepting maybe an outside truth and say, this is it. I know about the education system and their tests and shit like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about right here with you and your reality of the now and exploring yourself and trusting the internal. There's no lesser gods anywhere. Yeah, if you consider yourself less than and you need to be more than through the education of authority and these ideas, then you're always going to be that relationship. When Osifia said to me, go fuck it up, Roxanne, go fuck up reality, that gave me a permission to be wrong, to allow myself. And then I discovered I was never wrong and I was never right. I was discovering my truth, my I am, my individual world. But we're so hell bent on the externalisms, the value in the outside over the inside, which is not a problem. It is part of the reality. It's not a bad thing. It's part of the separation experience. But now we recognize that we don't need those people as authorities. You've seen it before. You did something your way, and someone goes, well, that's completely wrong. And you go, well, it worked. Well, yeah, but it didn't work the right way. You know, those are people that you want you to validate them. And you got to the same destination, but you took your own path. Don't let those
Exactly.
distractions pull you out of the idea of where you're focusing your attention here and now and taking your individual journey. There's no better outcome of this. You can't have a better life. If you want proof of it, look at your fucking life and look how hard you've been trying to get a better life and you haven't got there. You're in this always idea of eternal hope and eternal need and eternal want and eternal desire, in that idea of the lackful that needs to be fed in this eternal idea experience until you choose to transcend the experience, obviously. So yeah, don't be afraid. Go get it wrong. I'm going to get this wrong. Good. And then you're looking, wow, I'm wrong. Okay, now what? I'm wrong. Okay. Uh, I want to be wronger so I can hurt longer. You know, because once you give into those identities that your ego's selling you, you accept them and they're no longer identifiable. You can't have the feeling of it. So I think that's very valid. Don't be afraid to
Yes.
just start. You know, my YouTube channel started because I started channeling. I had to start one day, and I started and I trusted and I journeyed. 10 years later, I'm here. My life is not better or worse. My life is a journey of incomparable ideas of now of my own self discovery. I can measure the shit out of it. Of course I could. I have an ego inside of me, somewhere in my memory. Hey, ego, how'd you do? Well, you could have done better. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Sorry. That's funny, but absolutely that right. It's there, and you can have that, and we have that. Then it's a choice to stay in the now, and then well, look, it's like this. It's you can you can be in the now and just right the now, or you can be there thinking, oh, I wish I were richer, I wish I were in a better health situation, I wish I were in another place, right? You can do that or the other. It's a choice. The thing is that when you relate to what is not there, then you are expressing lack. And when you are lackful, well, you are saying that that is not something that you have, and then creation is going to say, well, you don't have it, then you don't have it.
And you
Not
don't
going to
have it.
change what.
You're putting out a truth, you're going to get the truth.
Exactly. What you put out is what you get, right? That's why that's why, first of all, the five laws are all interconnected. It's not one or the other, they are always all
Always
together.
all happening. Always. Absolutely.
Always. So if in the now you're lackful, then what you put out is what you get. It's there. You're not. But again, if in this now you are having a moment where you're relating in that way, saying, "Oh, this is not here. I don't have it. I wish I had it." Good. That's your now. Do not keep yourself accountable in the next now for that you expressed in the before. It's fine. You're not guilty of anything. You had that moment of lack. Now you are in another moment. You are not lackful in this moment because you were in another moment.
Yeah, they're never
Right?
tied together. They're never tied together. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's really important to understand this. Why? Because we come what we have learned that we are guilty, that our thought now is why we deserve to be punished. Karma. Oh, karma. I've heard so many times people saying, oh, well, karma is going to kick you in the ass. I said, well, no. But
I love it.
It's that relationship, right?
Yeah.
It's that relationship that if I have this thought, I have to be punished. No. That is something that has to be kicked out. Stop that. You do not deserve to be punished.
Transcend that. Accept
that.
it, that you're a part of punishment. I mean, we still stand in an idea of God, a God above us. We have more people on the planet have one God than many gods, which was the last age. Well, it was the age of Aries. You know, we're in the age of Aquarius. The last age was Pisces. That where we got the idea of Jesus, God, as above, as below. But we started out this great single God idea during the age of Aries. After the age of Taurus, many gods. We had one God. Egyptians ruled, now Abraham rules, the God of Abraham. So we have one God. And that God is spread all over the earth as a way, as part of our evolution. It's not right or wrong. It's not a lesson. No one's controlling this. We as a collective coveted these things. We did this as a collective. We are in charge of our own co-created universe. There's no people out there guiding us to get to where we need to go. They're not telling us what to do. They're not interfering with us. We're creating our own reality on our own, singularly in our own universe. As a result of that, it collectively as a species. So we took this one God thing, and it said exactly what you were saying. You're wrong. You need to be punished. You did something bad. And we enforce with yin and yang, bad and good, success, failures, or I should say good and evil, joy and suffering. So we work this polarity world as a validity, and we spend time in that polarity instead of being now, spending the time that you have in the now, and be more now about that. And then you'll see those energies that draw you out of the now are just simple choices. Look, if everything, look, we talk about it every day. People goes, what do you believe? See, if you have the word belief, that means it's changeable. If you have a knowing, then you'll never demand it of another, that's for sure. and you'll never defend it to another for yourself. You won't justify why you believe in something. That's a belief is an idea that implies doubt. The knowing of it becomes the truth. So everyone is their own journey, and there's no what humanity looks for one way. We're always trying to get to this one perfect way. So look at the society we've done. We're trying to teach everyone lessons. We're just become political. Hollywood and TV and movies have become political fucking statements. It's all just trash trying to fix each other. And we're not broken. We're not broken. We evolved together to have this God outside of us, and then Jesus, God in us, Muslim idea, all of it inside of us. And any other religion has those internal deities now. And now it's time to realize, oh my God, we're gods. We're individual creators. We're the gods. We've always been the gods, and we ever shall be eternal gods creating realities. But this one just happens to have a twist on it. We understand that. So, anyways, so in that relationship of always holding yourself accountable for your actions of the past, regrets is a way to experience a now. That's what's being accomplished. That's what's being created. You're not being forgiven. You're not going to seek something else. That's all in your mind of probabilities, which is created as an experience of the here and the now. So as soon as that moment's over and another one is birthed, which is just sequentialtaneously always happening, then all you're doing is just creating a series of nows, and however you relate to your now through your memory is still another now. It's always now. It's always
Always.
now. It's always happening right now. So where is your energy? I was so afraid of so many things in my life, spending all my time trying to avoid these things or fix these things or hope these wouldn't happen or make myself better. I can't be any better than all that is.
Yeah.
So that's a good point about that, Max. Go ahead.
Yes, and you see now, uh, there's a lot of not being in the now happening, right? We know that. And in this moment, what is mm, appearing so strongly for a lot of people is the fear of shortage in electricity, especially in Europe, but not only and specifically in
Oh yeah,
Europe.
that's a big thing right now. Big
It's a big
distraction.
thing. Yeah, big distraction right now. And so they are talking about what is going to happen because, oh, we already know that we will have shortage. And I was asking, how can we know that we have shortage in 6 months? Because we're not there yet. But then the answer, the three-dimensional answer is, well, there are already contracts that are done for the production of electricity. And I say, well, yeah, in your world, probably in my world, that's not now. And how can I now know now that in 6 9 months I don't have electricity? I can't, because it's not that moment. It's not right now. If I go there and I validate there, then yes, absolutely. Shortage and no electricity, it's gonna be my 6 9 months from now. Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm validated and I'm in that. But my point is that to say, well, it's not now. I'm not going to occupy myself with that now. Why? Because it's not now. Because I cannot handle that other now, because it's not now again, right? And what is happening then? All that concern about electricity shortage in some time. Well, then some people are taking action, doing this, doing that, right? Oh, we buy some new production, or we do this, we do that. Okay, good. That's right? That brouhaha, that the external activating itself, the collective or whatever, right? In that huge, big external idea of things. But the thing is that in my now, that's not there. And so I stay in my now, and then what happens in the idea of the external, well, it happens there. But when I'll be in 6 months, when it's supposed to be, or whatever, I don't know. That's the unknown. I'll discover
And
that
that's
in
what you
that
have to trust.
moment.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
I have to trust that. Because if I take it now, what do I trust? What am I? I'm already playing out what is going to be in 6 months. It's not gonna.
Exactly.
So I stay right now. And what happens in 6 months? We'll discover it in 6 months, right? And as Roxy said, that in 6 months is already now. It's another now. It's happening now. I didn't, right? If I extract myself from time and I'm above time, watching nows, it's happening now. So right, it's there. It's already. But when I'm in time, I have to take the long way of time to get there. So it's the unknown, and it has to stay in the unknown. If I'm fearful, if I am right now already playing into that, well,
And
it's a choice.
then you're creating a now.
Yeah.
You're creating it now to be fearful about something that's not happening now, but you're experiencing it now. And you're giving yourself the emotional feelings about the fear, and you're giving yourself the behavioral actions to take precautions. You're doing all those things, which is not doing anything for the future or the past. It's creating your experience now.
Yeah.
Someone had asked me, well, how do you handle things in the now? And I don't handle it. When something is vibrated into my reality that is blatantly obvious, then I was talking to James today. It's like a guy shipwrecked. You know, the ship goes down and he's floating on a piece of wood, you know, and then a day later, a string shows up, right? So he's on the thing and he has the string and he's playing with the string. Maybe 6 hours later, and another piece of wood shows up. So he grabs the wood out of water. It's like a pole. And then all of a sudden, another piece of wood, and this one's more flat. So there's the string, the pole, and the flat wood, and he has a paddle. And so he starts to paddle. See, it all comes in the now, and then he paddles to a shoreline. He just starts the journey. He's not afraid of loss because he's indestructible. So when it makes itself obvious, it'll be so obvious. One thing Abraham taught me very, very early, you don't take action until it's blatantly obvious. It smacks you in the vibrational head. Right there, smacks you in the forehead. It says, this is it. Take action. And if you don't, it comes back again because there's no one shot. You got to learn your lesson or you'll miss out on it. That's crap. That's another fucking diarrhea of fucking fear. It's
Yeah.
always going to be there, and you know it. You'll take that idea and say, this is it. This is it.
Yeah.
Too many times things have
This is it.
shown up that led me down the miracle of myself. And it's all occurring right now. I'm only slowing down what's coming to me. I'm putting the resistors up to slow reality down with my controlling of it. But reality doesn't happen fast. It does not happen fast. All of that shit. We love the gratitude of the moment, instant satisfaction, and we're always starving to be satisfied. So we've developed these insatiable ways to get it now and get it done. Credit, credit, oh, and credit. Let's get everything now and pay later. But you're not paying later. You're creating all experiences now. There's nothing you're lacking. Reality show you. I'm not saying you don't go and buy a car on time. I'm not saying you don't buy a house on time. What I'm saying is you find the slipstream when it's blatantly obvious, you make the choice of I am. It's not like we're
Yeah.
avoiding anything. We use everything, because everything in my reality is a tool for me to find myself home, to travel home internally, to discover I am. So whatever your truth is in your moment will tell you about yourself. And you keep choosing those truths. And if you are discerning in those now moments and realize, this is full of shit, this is not me anymore, put that down and move on to your next now. And allow things to unfold. Take the journey. We'd rather be afraid and prepared than naked and raw, living on the edge of life with no regard to a safety and security, or no regard to keeping yourself in some pompous ass fucking posture. You're a raw God, be a raw God. Discover yourself. And your rawness doesn't have to look like me, a fire sign that's all over the place. It's your truth in the moment. It's the expression of your vibrational truth is your rawness we're talking about. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Max.
It, absolutely. That piece is very important. Look into it the way you do it. Do it your way. Don't take someone else's way and make it your way, because then you will just get a little bit confused or lost, or you'll just idolizing it into something
Yeah,
that it is
idolize.
not,
That's good.
because you have a perception of it. Let's say, Roxy, you have a lot of video, a lot of stuff. You really have a library of amazing information, amazing channeling, and all of that. That's though your way. Now, if I come there and I watch that, and then I say, oh, then I have to behave in this way, I have to do this way. Oh, look at Roxy, she just does that in that way, so I have to do exactly how she does that there, because that's the way. Then I get lost, because it's Roxy's way, not my way. So I have to have the make myself humble in that, and just say, well, then I have to figure out my way. And
Yes.
it's gonna come to you. It's like Roxy said before, reality will, right, creation will give you that. You'll get that. It's there, because you'll give yourself that knowledge, that awakening, that understanding.
What I wanted to say right there is, if someone wants to learn how to channel, watch channelers, but don't envy them, don't comment them, and don't mimic them.
Yeah.
Just start and see that channeling is an ability that is owned by anyone who wants to attract to that reality and be a channeler. You can own that. All you have to do is start your journey. Can't get it
Yeah.
right and can't get it wrong. I've given channeling lessons before to get people to do it, but I don't teach them how to do it. I show them what they're blocking in order to allow themselves to channel. Take the things that slow down your own ability to channel, and take and recognize those, take those away, and then the channeler just is natural.
Yeah.
Even if it's the
That's a
truth,
very
though.
good example.
Yeah, and that's what you have to be honest about. It's like, oh, I should be a channeler because, oh, it looks fun. It does this or make me this or make me that. No. When I saw channeling, when I saw Bashar channeling, and I was like, I want to do that. Not for a purpose. I was like, this looks fucking phenomenal. I just really wanted to do that internally. That was the blatantly obvious. And then there was other things that were represented. I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. I had to be honest. It looked good. It was maybe successful. It can maybe earn me money, all that crap. But if it isn't my truth, I'm fucked. I'm going against the grain of myself. So we're not authorities. We're not the way. We're way showers, right? We say, here's the
Yeah.
way. Here's how I do it. Take what you see here and make it your way.
Yeah. And that's a very good example, that the people that want to channel and don't emulate, because that absolutely, if you try to emulate, what happens is that you hear oh, Roxy, how do you channel? And Roxy explains, well, this is my process, this is how I do it. And you ask another channel and you ask other. The thing is that there is not just one way of doing it, there is your way. And that's the difference, because one can expect that, oh, I'm gonna hear voices in my head, and then you don't have voices in your head, right?
No
So
voices.
exactly. And so if that is your expectation, then you get lost. Then you right, you block it, because then you do not understand how is the process. But you have expectation. That's the first thing. You have expectation, and expectation are right something that will keep you out of it. But then you have also an idea of how it is done. And that's right what I was saying before, is that when you have an idea of it's done because you have seen someone else, then you don't know how you do it. You can do it.
Absolutely. I want to give an example. In high school, uh, in ninth grade, I joined the track team because I saw a pole vaulter. And I didn't see a pole vaulter at the school. I saw the pole vaulter um, on TV. And I was like, oh my God, I want to do that. I would love to be a pole vaulter. That just
Oh
looked
yeah.
freaking awesome.
Ah,
So we had
fabulous. Yeah.
no pole vaulters at my school. I was in Munich American High School in Germany, Munich, Germany. I was at the American High School when it was still there. It's gone now. But that's when I went to school. It was 80 to 83. I was there. Um, well, it was 80, 81 and 82. I think 80, yeah, I was still in eighth grade. Yeah, 81 is when I went to high school. Uh, Anyways, so what had happened is those 2 years, um, I pole vaulted, but I did it my way. I just grabbed the pole and ran and jumped and held on, and as I did, I start kicking my legs up and start figuring it out. And I wasn't great at all. I was doing 7 feet, 8 feet, and the world record is 20 feet. You know, it's above 20. I think the guy this last summer broke the outdoor record. It's phenomenal, 20 plus feet. It's like, damn, look at you skying. So what had happened is I just did it, and we didn't have any other representation. I didn't know how to make it better or worse. I was just pole vaulting, you know. Um, then I got to the States, and I went to high school as Revere High School in Richfield, Ohio, where I lived in Bath and Richfield were very close to each other. So Richfield, Ohio, uh, Revere High School. So I'm pole vaulting, and I go to the first meet, and uh, there's my coach said there's a guy that can teach you, and uh, I got a contact. But before I met this guy, I went to. Oh no, yeah, that was there. That was there. Yeah. So it was the very first meet in my sophomore year. And this guy goes, your form is perfect. Everything is perfect. Right. And he was a coach from another school. He goes, your form is perfect, but you're not holding. And I was like, I don't understand. He goes, hold it. And when you run and you hit it, I was immediately jumping and pushing myself over. I wasn't holding it. So what you do is you jump and you put the pole into the slide or the pit, whatever you want to call it.
Hold the yeah.
Yeah, the big metal thing
Thing.
with the pole pit, and held it, and I held it, and that pole bent. It bent. It was never bending before because I wasn't told how to bend it. So all of a sudden, and I shot back like 20 feet, about 10 feet, really. And I was like, holy cow, I was all excited. I crashed to the ground, but I was so excited because I got that one little thing. So creation attracted a moment to where the guy says, hold it. And all of a sudden I was bending the pole. So I started playing with that, and the next thing I know, I can flip upside down and pull myself over and just do this thing. And so I went from 7 feet, 8 feet, 9 feet, 10 feet, 11 feet, 12 feet, 13 feet, 14 feet. And so now I was at a reasonable idea of pole vaulting. I became a pole vaulter. And I actually got a scholarship to a college in Westminster College in New Wilmington, Pennsylvania. I got a scholarship to go and pole vault, you know? So creation did it for me. All I was doing was interested. I couldn't need to get it right away. I didn't have to become the best right away. So I can make my parents proud. I can make myself better. So I can go around and say, look, everyone, I'm a pole vaulter. And then someone's going to go, well, here's a badge for your life, Sash. Go on with your bad self. It's like, yay. You know, I was not going to be that pride because I was too excited about being a pole vaulter. I didn't want to be anything but a pole vaulter, but I didn't want to get better at it out of the idea of this. Because there was no one there to tell me what to do and how to do it in this. It was just this one guy, this attraction of creation just said, hold it. And after that, he just left me alone. And then that other guy I had mentioned, he was a pole vaulter, and he had a pole vaulting pit in his backyard. He did it in college, and he bought it, and he practiced, and he kept it. And then all of a sudden, I got to go to his house, and that's when I really started skying. So attraction. Law of attraction attracted that reality because I was interested. You know, it's like it's like there's a guy on YouTube and he's a band repair technician, and he's been at it for 20 years. And you should see his garage, his workspace. It's not a garage. I think it's a separate workspace. He's got tools galore. He's got all of this stuff. He's interested in being a band instrument repair technician, and he is one of the best in the world. And he took the journey, and all of these things are attracted to him to allow him to hone his craft. That's anything that'll happen, but you got to be true to yourself. Like Max said, don't emulate that to become something. If it's attraction and you feel it inside of you, then open up the world and let it come. But don't do it for a reason. Do it because you can't help it. That's what the now will teach you. You can't fucking help it. It's like, God, I couldn't wait to pole vault. I was thinking, my God, I can't wait for practice. I get to pole vault. Talk about not being in the now because I didn't pay attention to school. I was like, I want to get to pole vault practice. But you get it. You see it. So trust that law of attraction. Trust it.
Yeah, and as you were saying before, is that action will come when it is obvious. It's gonna be there in your face. You do not need, right? Roxy had all that comment, right? Attracted to her. She didn't need to go and run around and making fuss and say, "Oh, give me a pole," right? It She attracted that because there.
And nowadays we have access to the internet, so there's a whole bunch of ideas out there. But make sure it feels good in your heart, and then use these things as guides, not structures. Don't put them in as that. You know,
There's no structure.
Yeah, there's no structures become striction. They turn it into strickening you to a conformity. Don't be afraid of your own beauty, your own light. Don't be afraid to allow yourself to be. You know, I mean, another great story is the Shawshank Redemption. You know, Andy was innocent. In reality, let him out, and he, got everything in his vibrational game. It took him 20 years, but he took the journey. What a fantastic journey! There's no wasted journey because you're not going to lack yourself when you leave this world. You're not going to get a better self when you leave this world. You're going to be becoming knowing to the love and to the internal self that you've always been. That's priceless. That's priceless. So whatever your life is here, take it because it's one of an infinite number of amount of lives that you will continue to do forever. This is one unique frickin' ride. Enjoy it. Anyways, we're over on time.
Enjoy it. Yeah, it was good to say. And with this, we, we have to go. And so it's the moment for the greetings, to say goodbye to next time. And thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you all for joining in. Thanks for tuning in with us. We'll talk to you next week.
And see you next week. Yes. Bye
Thanks,
bye.
friends.
Thank you.